Hey everybody, we're ready for our second part of our What is Spirituality videos. And getting back on track here, we wanted to first talk about a logical proof of spirit, right? Spirit may be matter, but of a finer thing than our current scientific instruments could detect. Remember, electricity was a thing like this. We kind of knew of it a little bit back in, say, Ben Franklin's day, but until we were able to kind of study it and understand it more, we were able to perceive it. And now we have the instrumentation to not only um, not only know where it is, but be able to conduct it and to be able to send it to places we know, right? Just because we previously were not able to detect or measure electricity didn't cause the thing to be a superstition or make believe or imaginary. And, and the same thing is true with spirit. Now, think about this light. Put on your like seventh grade science um, hat. Light is both a particle and a wave, right? So it's both energy and matter existing at the same time as the very same thing. That's crazy. It's wild. So we have an existence in light of such of an event where you have both matter and energy existing at the same time. And so, is it possible that matter and energy, like our bodies and our spirit, exist at the same time in the same place? Us? Absolutely, because we already have another example of that in light. So, it's very possible. So, there's that. The next thing that I want to talk about is spirituality and religion. We already said that spirituality doesn't have to be synonymous with religion. One can focus on spirituality through religion, absolutely, or it can involve a sense of connectedness to the spiritual nature of the universe. Like a Christian is going to define his spirituality as the quality of their relationship with Christ. A Buddhist would have a different definition of spirituality. Even an agnostic can develop spirituality without a firm belief of a God. Now, one thing that I want to kind of like mention is some people just like, oh, I just go out into nature and like I just discover my spirituality out there, and that's my spirituality. Well, if you're not sharing your spirituality with other human beings, humanity is a significant part of nature, and to cut that out is a major part of what spirituality is. It's an integration with each other. Remember, our definition of spirituality is the effort and energy we put into positively interacting in the world. And our world consists mostly with other human beings. And so that is almost essential to spirituality. Now, why should I even bother? What is the purpose of spirituality at all? And the spiritual life proves to give us in a number of different things. First of all, an advantages in the healing process. It's actually scientifically proven that a person who is more spiritual and more positive creates more endorphins and releases hormones that help in the healing process. It improves cell growth, and that's healing. It's not going to magically cure cancer overnight, but it does increase positive cell growth. A sense of a peace of mind increases stronger relationships. A student of mine was in for a very, very serious surgery, and he said one of the things that impressed him the most, or that really gave him strength the most, was all of the all of the people of his church sent him cards and letters of encouragement, and he said it made a lot of difference. So yeah, the more relationships you can have to support you, obviously it's going to improve your life. Also, a sense of a deeper meaning or value to living and the living things around you. Recognizing that and connecting to that is a powerful thing. Now, spirituality is not a thing that you have for a moment and then you don't have it the next. It's kind of like a line graph. It just kind of goes up. Some days it's better, sometimes it's worse. Some days, I mean, think about it. Some days you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go hang out with my friends. Or other days you're like, I just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And that's how it works. Like Some days spiritually we improve, and some days we just kind of maintain, or even like we have a bad day and we let somebody have it, and it makes things worse. And then what do we do the next day? We apologize and we move that line graph back up. Now, spirituality is much more than just a belief or an emotion. It's a way of life. It's a way of looking at one's environment. It's a worldview. And this worldview is going to differ from person to person, and that's perfectly okay. So here we come to a really, really important part of all this. How does a person develop and strengthen spirituality? And really, it comes down to developing love, love toward yourself and toward others. This is the quickest way to develop spirituality. Now, spirituality always going to include the development of love toward others. The emotion of love is often confusing in our modern society, right? The Greeks had 7 different types of love, right? Different words for what love was. And we have one, right? So I can say I love my dog, or I love my pig. I have a pet pig. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my car. But all of those have different meanings. If I said, "Oh, I love you guys," like that would be weird. You'd be like, "Yo, what do you mean?" Because like you don't know what that means, because that's the same word I use for my kids or for my wife. And so what we're talking about here, as far as spirituality goes, is in a spiritual sense, it's pure love, a concern for the welfare of others, a sense of selflessness. And we're going to talk about that. And you're actually going to write about that later in the semester, without strings attached. This is caring for others and being selfless without conditions. All right, next one. There we go. This is kind of a big deal here. Love is not an emotion. I just want to talk about love for a second. Love's not an emotion. It is the most powerful force in the world. And permanent things are always more powerful than things that change, right? That seems like a basic tenet. And the most powerful force in the world must be of a permanent nature, right? Things that are, then things that are not going to change, right? If it was the most powerful, it would definitely be in the category of permanent. But emotions, by their very nature, are transitory, right? They're ever changing emotions. I'm angry and then I get back. I mean, think about it. Have you ever tried to? I mean, do you think you'd be able to be super angry for a whole hour at that same level? It just it's impossible to do. It's like waves. Emotions are waves, and they are meant to be lived through as emotions. It's always changing. Therefore, if the love is the most permanent, most powerful thing, then it can't be an emotion. It's got to be more permanent than that. The emotions we feel, I think, could be more categorized in terms of like, right? I like this person. I like you more than I did yesterday. I used to like that, but I don't anymore. Love is different. It's of a permanent nature. Instead of emotions that are of the heart that wax and wane, love is a choice, a decision. Okay. And I will get to the analogy of the chocolate ice cream, a very personal story of mine, in our next video. So see you then.